Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another trading robot review video in my review series where I review the 100 most expensive trading robots and compare them to the 100 cheapest ones on the MQL5 market. And today we are going to be looking at number 3 on the list of the 100 most expensive ones is the Investment Innovator EA, and it has a price tag of 10,000. So let's get right into it. So let's copy the name, go through the MQL5 market and search here. By the way guys, this list is obviously publicly available through the link in the description. So if you want to see all the reviews and compare the performance and everything of the EAs that I do review, please go through the list in the description. Okay, so first thing I see is that the price tag is actually 1800 compared to the 10,000 that it was when I made this list on the 10th of October, which is what, like 20 days ago now. So I'm not sure why he changed the price of the trading robot. You can see here as well, after which the price of the EA will be $10,000. That is very interesting. I don't see like a discount or anything here. But I do see that we did that it probably did take a little bit of a hit in the reviews. Maybe it just says that it has a review rating of 4.35, where I had noted a 5-star rating. So maybe that's why. But Sergey, the guy who's the author of this trading robot, is a very well-known person on the MQL5 market. He has a lot of very popular trading robots on here, so I would think that he would still be able to sell it for $10,000, but maybe not. I don't know. Maybe he just decided to do a discount out of nowhere. I don't really know. But we do see we have some nice general information here. We have some signals, and I don't really see any marketing stuff other than the fact that the price will be increasing. I'm not really a big fan of that, but yeah. Other than that, we see that you can actually rent the product if you don't want to pay the full amount right away. So that is kind of nice. I'm not really a huge fan of this marketing strategy where they increase the price of the product based on how many licenses were sold. I don't think it has a lot of practical use. It's just to keep the exclusivity, as he even says here. So I think I'll give it a 0.3 out of 0.5 in the marketing rating. Just because that's like the only marketing I see. I don't really see any flashy discounts or anything, so yeah. Okay, so let's take a look at the pictures here. Okay, so we have a GIF here showcasing how the supposed 8-core AI of the strategy is working to analyze and filter through patterns and then make a decision on a trade. I mean, looks very fancy, but yeah. Then we have a GIF of a back test here, looking very smooth. A little bit too smooth, but yeah, let's see when we get into the testing. Then we have a GIF of what it looks like on the chart, I guess. Looks looks very fancy, I must admit. I mean, yeah, it looks cool with the whole processing thing, and looking through patterns. But this seems more like a graphical thing than actual useful, you know, programming. And then we have a backtest here from 2015 to 2023. He says that it made a profit of 70,912,000. That's a lot. And then we have one from 2020 to 2023, which made 34.7 million. And once again, very impressive. A little bit too impressive, maybe. It says stage 5 here, so I guess that's a setting or something. And then we have last year here of 2022. Well, okay, so this is just over the last year. It made 7 million, he says. Okay. And yeah, we have the full backtest results. Initial deposit of $1,000, a net profit of 68.3 million, and with a drawdown of 26.4%. I mean, that's not too bad actually. A win rate of 98.5%. Yeah, I mean, if these backtests are true, I mean that's very impressive. But we'll get into that. Yeah. Okay, so obviously all of these pictures and GIFs look very nice, maybe even a little bit too nice. It looks more so like they're trying to sell the strategy rather than to give someone a realistic look of what they can expect from the trading robot. Also, there's no video describing how to set up the strategy or how it works or anything. So I would have loved to see that. All of these backtest results are very good, obviously, maybe too good to be true. We'll see about that. At least he does specify the time periods and the settings used, so we can try to replicate these tests and see what kind of results we get on our own brokers. So I think overall, I'll give it a pictures and videos rating of 4. Okay, so let's take a deep dive into the description here. We have a quick sales pitch up here. Quickly outlining the basis of the strategy used. It doesn't really go too much into detail about what the strategy behind this trading robot actually is. He specifies here that one of the primary reasons to buy the trading robot is because it utilizes computer vision directly on the chart. I guess that's what he's showing here. And I can see a point in that, right? It does maybe give the person using the trading robot a more in-depth look into what the trading robot is actually looking for. So maybe that could be a good point. We will see about that in the test. He specifies here that it's supposed to only be used on gold, and at least a leverage of 1 to 20, and you should use it on the 30-minute time frame with default settings. Okay, so we don't really need any set files, I guess. Minimal deposit of $100, and he specifies that it can work with other EAs. He does have an MT4 version as well if you are on MT4. He has some signals here as well. Let's take a look at those. 272% with a drawdown of 33.5%. Pretty decent, I would say. Over 13 weeks, yeah, that's very good. Let's take a quick look at trading history. We do see that it trades somewhat often, but not actually that many trades, so that's interesting. I'm not really too familiar with Forex Chief, so I don't really know if that's a reputable broker. Not, but let's take a look at the other signal. Here we have a 353% return, but with a 72.5% drawdown. Wow, that is a lot of drawdown. Holy. You see, yeah, we had one losing trade here, it looks like. which is, yeah, you can see September here minus 40%. That is, whew, that's a big blow to the account right there. See, one loss just took it from 1166 to 560, so that's more than a 50% loss in one trade right there. So yeah, we do have a stop loss, it looks like, but it is very, very big, which is obviously also why he can maintain a 97% win rate. Okay, so I think the description is pretty straightforward. It's short and sweet. There's not really anything specifying what the trading robot actually does. There's a lot of hype language to hype up the strategy. I'm not that big of a fan of that, but it's fine, I guess. He does have some live signals, which is nice, but please keep in mind that these live signals are only 15 weeks old and 13 weeks old, while the trading robot was posted in March, so I'm not sure what's up with that. He does have some additional information saying that there might be periods where the robot is not trading as much. That's good information. Here he does specify how to set up the robot, so that's also good, but I would have liked to see some specification of the input settings in here as well. But maybe there's not that many input settings, maybe it's just pretty straightforward. I don't know, we will see when we get into the platform. I think I'll give the description a 4 out of 5. Okay, so let's hop into the MT5 platform and set up the trading robot. Let's go to the market, search and find it here, and we download demo, and there we go. Open the strategy tester, press Ctrl R, and here we go. Let's find it. There it is, the Investment Innovator. Then he's set to put it on gold and 30-minute. And let's take a look at the input settings. Okay, there's actually a lot of input settings. Now this is why I would have liked to see some kind of specification of the input settings in the description. Here it says AI stage 4. On most of these pictures it said stage 5, so I'm not sure why the default settings is set to stage 4. But maybe this because stage 5 is higher risk, so the default setting is stage 4. I don't know. But he says here to just put it on default. So we'll try with default first, and then we can maybe try another test with stage 5 afterwards. So there's a lot of input settings here, and not all of them have direct impact on the strategy. You see there's a lot of inputs for just the menu, which is shown on the chart and all of that, and then there's some general settings for the time zone stuff. But I think there's just a lot of settings, and I think most people would be pretty confused looking at this. But I do think the titles of the input settings are pretty good. You kind of figure out what each input setting does, so that is at least something. But I think I'll give it a 3 out of 4 in the input settings. So let's try and run it in the visual mode to see what it looks like on the chart. Yeah, so here we do actually see the monitor of the trading robot over here. You see that it's currently analyzing everything going on. You see the broker, server, leverage. You see the spread here. I don't know why it just says 50 here. I'm pretty sure I'm trading on variable spreads, so I think this should be changing. But oh well, everything else seems correct. You see here that it's currently scanning for patterns, I guess, and then see the computer visualization that he was talking about in the description with, first pattern, second pattern, third pattern, and so on. I'm not sure that this really helps us a whole lot, like he said it would, because this is just, I mean, it's just visualization. Oh, no margin for simple. Oh, maybe it's because it's actually using up all of the margin. Yeah, you can see it's taking up a lot of margin. So maybe the training robot is saying that I don't have enough margin for another position. So let's see here. We have a take profit of 825. So that's 250, but we have a stop loss of. Wow, yeah. So that's a stop loss of $30. That's a lot. That's like 3,000 points. But you see it was closed with a profit pretty quickly as the take profit was only $2.50. I mean, hey, it looks kind of cool at least, but yeah, once again, I'm not really sure that you're gonna be getting a whole lot from this. And this animation, it just seems to be doing the same thing over and over again. So now that we've seen it in the visual mode, let's just try and do a quick backtest without the visual mode to see how long that takes. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back. I got caught up in some things, but as you can see, the test took 4 minutes and 38 seconds, which is quite long for a single test. But in this case, it might be a little more okay, as it seems like the author has already done a ton of optimization on this trading robot, because otherwise you would probably not see the types of results he showed on the backtest on the pictures. So you might not need to do a lot of optimization, and therefore the test length might not matter as much in this case. I think the only thing you might have to look at is what kind of model you want to use and what stage you want to use. And I think you can even increase or decrease the risk taken by lowering or upping this number. I'm not entirely sure yet, but I think I would give it a testing score of 4 out of 5, as I did like the visual testing as well. So let's get into the fun part, which is looking at the performance of this backtest. And we see a very good looking equity curve here, but when it starts to go this crazy, it makes it very hard to see drawdowns. So let's take a deeper look at it in the backtest results. Here we see a 48% drawdown and a 30% drawdown on the balance, which means that we actually did take a 30% loss at some point. Let's see here, we have a win rate of 99.78%. That is quite a lot. But yeah, you see we had one losing trade. One losing trade that cost us 30% of the account. So that means that the trading robot is set to risk 30% per trade with the stage 4, which is the default one. That is a lot, and that definitely means that you cannot use these particular settings for a prop trading account or something like that. That's for sure. But I mean, with these types of results, even if you only had $1,000 account, you could still see some pretty crazy returns. So yeah, the recovery factor looks really good. Obviously, the Sharpe ratio not so great, but that is because of the big equity drawdowns that it takes all the time, as that is factored into the Sharpe ratio as well. We see that the strategy only traded 445 times, which is not really that much over a period of 20 months. That's like one trade a day or something around that, which is good, I guess. Means that it's not over trading at least, and it means that you're not getting eaten by commissions or slippage. So I actually think that's very good. Yeah, these results are pretty clean, I would say. So the only thing is that with this type of win rate, he has definitely done a ton of optimization. He might even have used AI, as he states, to look through the historic data from 2015 or something like that, and used it to find the optimal places or the optimal patterns to trade, and thereby derived this type of win rate. The problem with this is that none of us knows what the future is going to bring. So when you risk 30% of your account on one trade, it only takes 2 free trades before you've literally lost everything. So that's the main issue with this strategy, that it might work for a long time, but then you might just lose everything in a very quick span of time, and you won't really have time to react properly to it, because before you know it, you'll be 30% or 60% down on your account. But the thing with this type of strategy is, if you have a small account, you could just risk it all, right, and go for it and hope for these types of returns. But the problem is that if you have a small account, you probably don't have $10,000 for a trading robot, right? Or well, in this case, it's only 1,800 right now actually, but still, right? I mean, if you have $1,000 account, you probably don't have $1,800 just to spend on buying the robot in the first place. So I think there's a lot of risk here, but obviously the return could also be very good if it continues this way. But also just know that it is taking massive risks, which means that you could just lose your entire account very quickly. So if you are using this strategy, I would definitely recommend that you withdraw from your account regularly, to at least make sure that you do get some of the profits to keep, so to speak. So even if it crashes, you at least got something to show for it. Alright, so I just did another test with the stage M here, which I think is the lowest risk you can take. You see here the result is wildly different, but you also see here that the drawdown is much, much, much lower. You see, before you were risking 30% of the account on one trade. Here we only lost 2.92% on that same trade. So this would be a much better setting if you want to just test out the strategy and take a lot less risk. It still ended up being 184% over a 20-month period, which is still very good. And you took a lot less risk. You could, for example, use these settings for a prop trading account. The only problem I see with that is that equity drawdown was 5.3%. Most prop trading firms have a daily max drawdown of 5%. I obviously don't know if this entire drawdown happened in one day. If it did not, then it's fine, but if it happened in one day, then you would lose your prop trading account. So be aware of that. But the results are still very good, and because you can actually just change the risk around as you want to, I think I will actually give this performance in 8 out of 10, even though I'm not a huge fan of taking these massive risks per trade. and the strategy itself does seem quite over optimized. Um, but I'm very curious to see how this strategy will perform over time. So that's definitely something I'll try to keep tabs on over the coming months, even years. Um, but yeah, so far I think I would give it an 8 out of 10. And it has great potential, I think, but it could also, uh, you know, be quite risky. So we'll have to see. So let's go ahead and put these numbers in to the list here. We had a marketing rating of 0.3, we had a pictures rating of 4, description rating of 4, input rating of 3, and a testing rating of 4, and a performance rating of 8, which then gives us a total review score of 23.3, which is definitely the best review score we've had so far, which is exciting. I love that. And I will fill out the rest of the things here as I look more into the performance. But so far, this was a pretty good trading robot, I would say. Remember to check the description, guys, for all the useful links. Uh, the link to the trading robot is in there, the link to the list is in there, and even links to my own trading robots are in there, and a link to the introduction stating what the goal with this list is also in there. So yeah, I will see you in the next video, and thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you did enjoy this review, and yeah, have a great weekend as it is actually Friday right now.